Hey, today we're going to talk about definite articles. That means the. In English, we have one word for the. It's the. You can say the if there's a vowel there, but you don't have to. There's only one word. In most other languages, including German, there's more than one way to say the. In German, we have der, die, and das. Der is the article that's used when we refer to males, as you know so far. So if you're talking about any kind of a male person, der Lehrer, der Schüler, it's der. Das is what we call neutral, which basically means it's neither one nor the other, and we'll come back to that. Die, you've already learned, refers to feminine people, like die Lehrerin, die Freundin. So, this works for people, der and die. But what about things? Things are assigned a gender in German. For example, der Bleistift, the pencil. That doesn't mean that all pencils are boys. That means the word Bleistift is a masculine noun and it will always be der. Das means it's not masculine or feminine, but that does not mean that everything that's not der or die is a das word. It does not work that way. Das Heft is the notebook, and it just happens to be a das word, so you just have to remember it. Die can be used for other nouns that aren't people, like die CD. Does that mean that all CDs are girls? No, it means the word CD takes the feminine gender, and it's a die word. All plurals are die words, so if it was in the singular a der word, when it becomes plural, you're going to use die. Now, that's one of the first things you need to ask is, do I use der, die, or das? You can't really know, unless it's a person, without memorizing the article. Also, you need to understand that when you think of something, if you think of skirt, for example, you think, oh, girls wear skirts, that should be a die word. It doesn't work that way. It's der Rock, actually, for the skirt. It's a masculine noun, even though you associate it more with females. So that doesn't have anything to do with it. Die Hose, the pants, traditionally in the past worn by men, but die is shows a feminine word. Hose, even though you might think of them as being male, have nothing to do with that. It's still die Hose. Now, there is an exception. Words that end in chen or lein, L-E-I-N, are always das words. This is because that ending, the chen, makes it a little something, and it's just always a das. So the biggest example of this that we have so far is das Mädchen, the girl. And you might think, why in the world do we say das Mädchen? Why isn't it die? Because she's a female. Well, it was die Maid, the girl or maiden, but when you add the chen to it, it becomes das. So that's just kind of a fun fact to remember. It's das Mädchen instead of die Mädchen. That's about the only person you're going to learn that is a das word instead of a der or die. So here you have the definite articles. Der is for masculine nouns. Now the first group you see, der Schüler, der Freund, der Lehrer, those are people. They make sense. But the next group, der Bleistift, der Rucksack, der Radiergummi, those are just things. But Bleistift, Rucksack, or Rucksack is misspelled, and Radiergummi take the masculine gender. So right now you just need to remember that they're der words. When you say the pencil, it's der Bleistift. Later, you will come back and need to know that they're der words, not just so you can say the, but so that you can say may, my, your, a, none. So you'll need to know it for all of those things. If you look at the das words, they're neutral nouns. Das Heft, das Buch, das Handy, das Telefon. They just happen to be das words. And the feminine nouns, which I know you can't see all of. Die Schülerin, die Freundin, die Lehrerin. Those make sense. They're people. But we've also got die CD, die Landkarte, which means map. So there's a lot of die words that are not feminine things, but the word is a die word. Now, do you remember what the gender of all of these are? Do you remember what the article is? Do you use der, die, or das? Try to guess it before I do. Die Brille. One little hint here is if the word ends in an E, it's almost always a D word. There are a few exceptions. Der Junge, the boy, is the most obvious one that you know so far. Actually, so is Name. It's der Name. That's why you say mein Vorname. It's a der word even though it ends in E. So it sometimes happens, but most of the time if it ends in D, it's an E word. So what is the cell phone? Is it der, die, or das Handy? It's das Handy. How about the next one? It's Rucksack. Is it der, die, or das Rucksack? It's der. Now for das words, a lot of foreign words and words that are more recent are das words. Not always, but often. Rucksack, things that tend to end in a hard consonant are often der words. That's a little vague, but it might help. The next one, der, die, or das Radiergummi. I hope you remembered it's der Radiergummi. The next one is notebook, Heft. Is it der, die, or das Heft? It's das. There's really no way to know that one. You just have to memorize it. Is it der, die, or das Buch? Yes, it is Buch. Now something that could help you is both the Buch and the Heft have paper in them, have pages of paper, and they're both das words. Maybe that will help you. The next one is CD. Is it der, die, or das? It's die CD. Computer. Is it der, die, or das? Der Computer. Almost all words that end in an ER are der words. You can see the ER in der, and you can see the ER in the computer. The next one is Bleistift. Is it der, die, or das? Der Bleistift. The next one is a male teacher. That should be an easy one. And it's der Lehrer because it's a person, and it's a male person. It's going to be der. The female teacher. So it's going to be der, die, or das Lehrerin. Obviously, die Lehrerin. You can't see the next one too well, but it's Schultasche. Is it der, die, or das? It's die Schultasche. It ends in an E, and they're usually D words. Okay, let's do it again with these. You've got a boy student. Is it der, die, or das Schüler? Of course, it's der because he's a boy. The next one is the female student, Schülerin. So what do you change the der to? Die Schülerin. The cat, we learned this last time. Is it der, die, or das Katze? It's die Katze. After a while, you hear them so much and use them so much they just sound right. Also, Katze ends in an E. It's a D word. How about the dog? Is it der, die, or das Hund? Der. Some people think of cats as girls and dogs as boys. We know that's not obviously true, but if it helps you remember it, that's fine. Now, these are school supplies. Is it der, die, or das Schulsachen? It's D. There's two reasons. Number one, it just is. Number two, it's plural. All the plurals will be D. How about Schuhe or Sportschuhe? Is it der, die, or das? Well, if you remembered what I just said, it's plural, so it's going to be D. This is Schule. Is it der, die, or das? It's die Schule because it ends in an E. So if you see that E, most of the time it's a D word. Okay, and these last four didn't have der, dies, or das. They do, but we didn't learn them. So we have Musik, Band, Deutsch, and the one you can't see is English. Okay, so that's a summary of how to use the definite articles, the. The biggest thing you should take away from this is you just need to memorize them. Whenever you learn a new German word, learn the der, die, or das with it. If it's a person, it's easy. Males are der, females are die. Anything else, while there are some patterns, mostly just have to be memorized.